in January of 1982 were the big floods. It was before you got here. And we didn't know each other. There was no ministerial association or interfaith association of any kind. So a few different congregations took the lead at getting people together: Westminster Presbyterian, Rodef Shalom, First Presbyterian San Rafael, the Community Church in Mill Valley, and I was at First Methodist San Rafael. And so we began then to invite others to join us and talk about what we might do together. And one of the first things we had to do was be the interfaith body to receive aid for flood relief. So we did have a disaster relief program that we started all of a sudden and learned about. But the other major issue that emerged immediately was that we had what we called the new poor. Because of the flood, because of the changes in state and federal policy, we were finding people at our doorsteps who needed help, who were marginalized by the economy or by the flood. And we had homeless people who were not the typical chronic homeless that might have happened before. So we immediately set up with those who started to come 4 committees, one on shelter, one on health care, one on food, and one on transportation. And those committees began to function immediately to build an infrastructure of services that we didn't have in Marin. So that was really our first face in the community, was finding a way to work together to begin to put together some of the structures that could make a difference in the community.
Prior to that, interfaith activities really were just local neighborhood churches getting together on Thanksgiving Eve and eating pumpkin pie and singing, "We gather together to," and that was it.
We had so diligently worked inside the nonprofit world that people knew who we were and that we were not going to leave the scene, that we were going to be a force to contend with. And this is before there's a formal interfaith council.
Together we found out how the county worked, what was needed. We had a very large seminar with people. There really wasn't any group in the county with enough trust to bring people together to say these are the unmet needs. So we played that role of being in between.
Once we decided to get together, we hired an executive director part-time because we didn't have a very large budget. And, we contributed toward the budget. We didn't wait for the San Francisco Foundation or the Marin Interfaith, the Marin Community Foundation to fund us. And we hired a part-time executive director for the Marin Interfaith Council, and programs, began, and we were able to experience so many things through the Interfaith Council that we had this opportunity to really change. There's a Hebrew song, "Aniva Ta'amneshana et Ta'olam," you and I can change the world. And you change the world by throwing a pebble into the pond and letting the concentric circles travel out. And that's what we had an opportunity to do. Everything was just right. There was need, there was opportunity, there was funding, finally, and there was a connection, a friendship that we had that was durable and that enabled us to do things that really needed to be done.
You certainly wanted to do more than simply fund the social services of the religious community. I mean, not that that wouldn't be, that's a part of it, and they still do.
Right.
But beyond that, it was a matter of how do you fund even the spiritual aspect of what these congregations are doing without looking like you're favoring one over the other. And the Marin Interfaith Council is their ticket out of that dilemma. And I think they realized that early on, and so we built a partnership
the real power of the Interfaith Council is that the leadership came together, then the laity came together, and all of a sudden we're seen as a harmonious, cooperative, respectful gathering of people, and that has continued to this very day.
It was very gratifying to see a group of disparate congregations
Very much so.
who often didn't share a whole lot in terms of their theology, but they certainly all had a sense of compassion for people in need. And I think that has been the secret to the success of the whole organization. We have gotten to the place where we've been doing this for years now, really, but where we listen to one another, where we learn from one another, where we visit each other's congregations. We have all sorts of wonderful experiences on that level, the spiritual level, and yet it's the mission that really drives us.
Marin Interfaith Council was born out of crisis to be a presence in this very beautiful but strained place to live. And we have over now 30 years been able to find different ways of being of service to each other and to the community.
It was a great gift to be able to have the friendship and the kindness of fellow clergy, and to have the ability to touch so many lives, and to look back now and see that the Interfaith Council is now a vibrant and effective and really powerful force in the community. I'm grateful for it.
People get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith. You can hear the Jesus coming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. We all say, the train to Jordan is picking up passengers from coast to